Hello. Catch My Breath is a program about e-cigarettes and tobacco. After the program, you'll be able to identify the consequences of using e-cigarettes, understand the highly addictive nature of nicotine, and learn strategies used by the tobacco industry to get teens addicted to nicotine and other products. So tobacco and nicotine products are divided into 4 categories, as you can see here. The first one is combustible tobacco. Those include cigarettes, cigars, hookahs, and roll your own. The second category is smokeless tobacco. That includes chew, snuff. The third is e-cigarettes. That includes disposable, tank, cartridge. And the fourth is heat not burn, and that includes heat sticks. What do all these products have in common? Well, they all include nicotine. Although e-cigarettes are less harmful compared to other tobacco products, they are still very harmful. Every form of tobacco product can cause harm to nearly every organ in your body. It can also lead to heart disease, stroke, eye problems, and yellow teeth. Each of these products we talked about come with their own issues. Combustible tobacco, cigarettes, cigars, hookahs, roll your own, that can cause lung, mouth, stomach, kidney, and bladder cancer. E-cigarettes of all types, including Juul and disposable e-cigarettes like the Puff Bar, contain nicotine, which is a highly addictive drug. Although e-cigarettes seem to be less harmful than combustible tobacco, the aerosol that users inhale have other harmful substances, including heavy metals, volatile organic compounds, and ultrafine particles that cause irreversible damage to the lungs. They also contain as much as or more nicotine than a regular cigarette. Smokeless tobacco, chew, dip, snuff, can cause cancer of the mouth, the esophagus, and pancreas. Heat not burn, the heat sticks or glow are considered a harmful reduction product. The long-term effects are not well known, but they contain a lower level of carcinogenic chemicals compared to combustible tobacco. E-cigarettes are considered safer than cigarettes, but they are far from safe. They're a toxic mix of highly addictive nicotine and other chemicals. A lot of these chemicals, I really struggle with saying the names correctly, so please bear with me. The first one, acetaldehyde, causes mutations in reproductive cells, possibly causes genetic defects, is a class 2 carcinogen, which means that it causes cancer, and is a class 2 specific target organ toxin. Acrolein may cause frequent lung infections and general deterioration of heart health due to accumulation in one or many human organs, not to mention other chemicals like the 2,3-pentanedione, heavy metals like lead and nickel, different organic compounds, ultrafine particles which harm the lungs, and more than 8,000 flavor chemicals used in the different e-liquids, those that have not been tested for use in the lungs. So the pathway to nicotine addiction: when you smoke a tobacco product, nicotine gets into the blood through the lungs, then travels to the brain, where it hacks into the brain by pretending to be a natural brain chemical. It then activates the dopamine reward system, which is responsible for pleasure in the brain. Overstimulation of this pleasure system in the brain leads to addiction. Consequences of nicotine include, nicotine is very addictive, especially to the developing brain of teens. Nicotine users experience varying degrees of mood disorders, including anxiety, moodiness, nervousness, signs of nicotine addiction, and withdrawal. Nicotine causes harm to many organs in the body that include the brain, the lungs, heart, gastrointestinal tract, your joints, causing ear, nose, and throat problems such as nose congestion and dry mouth. In your brain, addiction, mood change, headache, irritability, anxiety, depression, trouble sleeping, dizziness. In your lungs, shortness of breath, cough, throat irritation, COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. In your heart, hypertension, fast heartbeat, artery constriction, coronary artery disease. In your gut, heartburn, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, dyspepsia, which is indigestion, and also in your hormones could cause high insulin levels, which is low blood sugar, insulin resistance, causing type 2 diabetes. Nicotine can cause a number of birth complications. The worst are stillbirth, which is when the baby is dead at birth, sudden infant death syndrome, when the infant dies in its first few months. When a pregnant woman uses anything with nicotine in it, the nicotine also gets to the baby. Nicotine is extremely harmful to the developing fetus, and the harms increase as the baby grows. When pregnant moms use nicotine, it is more likely that there will be significant problems. Nicotine-exposed babies tend to have several health problems throughout their lives, including impaired function of the endocrine, reproductive, respiratory, cardiovascular, and neurological symptoms. Babies who were exposed to nicotine in utero tend to grow up to have poor long-term academic performance and behavioral problems such as ADHD, aggressive behaviors, and future substance abuse. In babies exposed to nicotine, it is associated with poor long-term academic performance, and significant behavioral disruptions are also common, including ADHD, aggressive behaviors, and future substance problems. I think I just repeated that. So why e-cigarettes companies use such high amounts of nicotine? Well, the higher the dose, the faster the nicotine gets to the brain, and the faster addiction occurs. Nicotine can be measured using two different units. One of them is nicotine by weight, or the other is concentration, which is most commonly used. A few years ago, most e-cigarette brands contained between 3 milligrams and about 30 milligrams, which is equivalent to 2.5% nicotine by weight. The 30 milligrams was intended for heavy smokers. Today, the most popular brand is Juul, and that contains 59 milligrams or 5% by weight of nicotine. So this is just showing you it's very high nicotine content. So 60 milligrams of nicotine can be deadly. 1 teaspoon of nicotine can be fatal to toddlers. Additionally, 20 milligrams is the non-prescription maximum in Europe. And that's indicated by that blue horizontal line there on the graph. Well, do you want to become the next generation of smokers to replace those that have died? There is a high chance that this man started smoking as a teenager. Nearly all adults who smoke started when they were teenagers. Tobacco companies don't care about you. They just want you to give them your money. So, listed on the screen are negative consequences of using e-cigarettes. This is a start. This is just part of the health consequences. Aerosol has toxic chemicals that can damage the lungs, hacks your brain. Nicotine causes addiction, dry mouth, vapor tongue, sore throat, nosebleeds, nicotine toxicity, nausea, headache, increased heart rate, can be fatal for babies, causing SIDS, stillbirth, low birth weights. The batteries can explode in them, causing different issues, gateway to combustible tobacco, alcohol, and marijuana, and other addictive drugs. Ingesting e-liquid can be fatal. There's also many social consequences relating to using e-cigarettes. They cost a lot of money, about $50 to get started. And cartridge pods cost anywhere from $3 to $7 per pod. You could get suspended from sports, being a bad role model to younger family members, getting in trouble at school or at home, getting in trouble with the law. Purchasing or possession is against the law under 21. Loss of trust with parents. So those are just some of the social consequences. All right. The activity that you're going to be doing is you're going to be interviewing one peer and one adult. The adult could be a parent, could be a guardian, could be a teacher, could be a neighbor, could be really anyone over 18 will consider an adult. And then one peer, so someone that's also in high school, about their relationship with tobacco products. You'll submit the completed interview questions to me. The peer must be someone who currently uses tobacco or an e-cigarette product. So I highly recommend, that if you can find someone, it will be quite interesting for you to hear their responses to those questions. The adult does not need to have ever used a tobacco or e-cigarette product. And please email me if you have any questions regarding the assignment. In the situation that we're in right now, you're going to have to reach out to someone, email, call. So please let me know if you have any questions regarding this assignment. Thank you.